When I think about how quickly he moved forward from me to Marjorie, that was disturbing. With all the emails and the text messages and the different things that were that I was finding out about, I thought the least that he could do, make me whole at the end of it.
Who the fuck picked Steve Harvey as the representative for all things black? Steve Harvey, let's keep this shit funky. Steve Harvey is on his third marriage. His third wife was mistress to his second wife. Yet, black people have anointed this motherfucker the oracle when it comes to black dating. This nigga wrote a book on dating. You on your third wife, homie. With all respect, why can't we pick a nigga that know what he's talking about?
Girl, when I tell y'all that Mary Harvey is not going to leave any dirty secret of Marjorie Harvey untouched, I'm not playing. She's been going back and forth, calling Steve and Marjorie bullies after they tried for years to silence her and drain her pockets, and steadily been exposing Marjorie's fake past. And with everything she knows now, Mary believes that her life would be so much different if Marjorie didn't come into the picture as Steve's paid escort and boot her out of her own home. Girl, we've been hearing about Steve and Marjorie's relationship for a minute, but the more you find out, the more you realize just how much money they must have spent to build that family-friendly image they had going on. Because from the looks of it, they are anything but that.
Like somebody snapped their finger and there was no marriage between us, you know?
Right.
It was like, boom.
Now, if there's one person that really got the short end of the stick when dealing with Steve Harvey, it's his ex-wife, Mary Shackelford. She was married to Steve from 1996 to 2005, and just so happened to be caught in the middle at the moment Marjorie decided that it was time to sink her claws into Steve and get a piece of that fame and wealth for herself. When Mary met Steve, he had just left his first wife and family because he believed they were holding him back. At the time, she didn't know that Steve was married and allowed him to live with her for years. Remember, he wasn't anything close to famous and rich when they met, and it's fair to say that Mary helped build his career. Even when they got married and she found that he's got a whole nother family tucked away, she reportedly made sure they were straight and got Steve paying child support. Mary and Marcia, Steve's first wife, also had a pretty decent relationship. When Steve wanted to start his comedy club and didn't have enough money for it, Mary gave him $250,000 from her savings to complete the purchase, and also did the interior design for the club so that he wouldn't rack up expenses. Girl, love ain't got nothing on common sense. With how mixed their lives were and kids coming into the picture, Mary believed that she had nothing to worry about with Steve, and their marriage was strong.
A family, you know, and I had someone that took up for me. I never was afraid because he was there. He was like the brother, daddy, uncle, everybody. And that meant a lot to me. And my family meant a lot to me. And he knew that because I told him about my family when I met him. And I was telling him about how important everybody was to me. I felt safe for the first time in my life. So I said to myself,
little did Mary know that while she was feeling confident in Steve and their relationship, Marjorie had slowly re-entered the picture and was slowly gaining leverage when it came to Steve. Now, if you ask Steve and Marjorie how they met, they'll tell you the same cookie-cutter story they've said over 1,000 times. Marjorie attended one of Steve's earlier shows. He saw her looking beautiful in the crowd, said she was going to be his wife one day, and the rest, as they say, is history. But Marjorie's path to becoming Steve's wife is a bit shadier than they want to let on. After they first met, she didn't pay Steve dust because he was broke, struggling, and Marjorie wanted nothing to do with that. Marjorie at the time was hanging around with drug lords and pimps and all sorts of characters. She was literally married to Jim Townsend, who was a major dealer in the Memphis substance scene. She was so involved in everything that was nicknamed Lady Heroin. Marjorie reportedly had to drop out from the University of Memphis because her rep was so bad that she couldn't face going to classes. After Jim got caught and sent to prison, Marjorie moved on quickly and got married to Jim's cousin Darnell Woods, who she had Lori with. And Darnell was even a bigger dealer, right in the streets. However, just like Jim, the feds soon came looking for Darnell and he got indicted. Marjorie had no education, no money, and all her nose candy business was all over. Marjorie knew that if she wanted to live a wealthy, stable life, she needed to find someone who made money in a more legal way, because she wasn't about to be out here doing prison runs. And then she found out about Steve's rising star and went back to the man she rejected all those years ago. Steve was riding off the massive wave from doing Kings of Comedy and was quickly rising through the industry as one of the most beloved comedians. However, Marjorie knew that with his new status, she couldn't approach him directly. So do y'all know what she did? Marjorie allegedly started messing around with Steve's bodyguard, Big Boom, and used that to get closer to Steve. So by the time she and Big Boom were done, Marjorie was reportedly Steve's side chick. Steve wanted Marjorie to be happy being his mistress, and reportedly went on to get her own apartment and kept her bills paid. Whenever he had to travel for trips, Marjorie was the one traveling with him, while he came up with some excuse for Mary. But the better Steve treated Marjorie, the bolder she got to start demanding more. Eventually, Marjorie took matters into her own hands and sent Mary details about her relationship with Steve. She even reportedly called when Mary was at home, just to let her know that she wasn't going anywhere.
The housekeeper, she brought it to me. And when she handed it to me, it was almost like that package burned my hand. I knew it was something crazy. I didn't want to look in it, but of course I had to look in it. So I opened it and I'm reading this letter. And the more I'm reading this letter, and her wording is so defined, it was like somebody was rolling tape. Her verbiage about him, like how he spoke, the words he said, you know, how he walked in the room, everything. She was like painting a picture of him being, you know, at their apartment or whatever. I don't know anything about a house.
As soon as Mary confronted Steve about it, he turned deadly cold and cut her off completely. And once he started the divorce process, she quickly realized how nasty Steve could be, or how easily manipulated he was. Their divorce dragged on for a long time, since Mary rightfully wanted what she was owed, and Steve and Marjorie weren't willing to give it to her. When he saw she wasn't going to budge on the divorce, Mary talked about how Steve and Marjorie punished her the only way they knew how, by going after her son. She claimed that their son, Winton, always had marks on his body, and she couldn't tell if it was Steve doing it or Marjorie, just to play with her mind. She even filed a police report saying that Winton had come back from Steve's place bruised. Once the case was shut down by the police, Steve immediately filed for full custody of Winton. And because Mary didn't have the money to hire expensive lawyers like he did, she lost. Mary rarely got to see her son from then on, and claimed that the custody gave Steve and Marjorie enough time to ruin the relationship between her and her son.
That financially, my life is in a shamble, that is absolutely true. But it's been like that since 2005.
Why,
so this
though?
is nothing.
But why is it in shambles?
Because we have a man of power and authority, and he used that in the court. In a small town in Texas, he was able to manipulate this entire situation to his benefit, and it does happen. It
gave him that
because I'm a nobody. You know, his lawyers came in, his team of lawyers and his entourage, and, you know, he's a man with the power. He's in 60 markets. He's written these books. You know, he's socially connected with the programs and Disney and all these type people. It's easy for him to come to court and say, oh, this woman has no job. You know, socially, she is of no significance. She has no moral support or no emotional support, which I did not have, because everyone shifted to his side of the table, so to speak, because at that moment I did become insignificant.
After years of speaking out about this, it looks like Mary has finally been able to convince people. Someone said, "Everybody knew that Marjorie was for the streets. The only one who thought he could change that was Steve." And another person said, "People talking about Steve Harvey forget that he abandoned his first wife and kids the moment he started to make money and fame, cheated on his second wife Mary with Marjorie, and later married her. It has got nothing to do with women. It's a lesson. If she is an angry woman, she has a right to be. She was with him when he was a nobody and had nothing." But what do y'all think about this? Sound off in the comments and make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, baddies!